Imagine if next month they changed Ebony Maw so he has 1,000,000% mind resistance, but he has 0% cold resistance. Now your Professor X is fucking useless, but you can still use Luna Snow, and you know what? You can pay crystals and buy Iceman. And next month, after that, for the, in May, we're gonna change him again, and now he'll have 1,000,000% cold resist and 0% fire resistance. Huh? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and I know a lot of you are probably really happy to see Magneto and his brand new uniform, and you're really happy for him, and you think that he got the justice that he deserved, and you can play him in a lot of new game modes, and he can do really well. And I think a lot of you are also really impressed with him in ABX, because now he can do so much better in ABX than he used to, and he's back on top, and that's great. But there is something sort of sinister underneath that as well, unfortunately, and I want to talk about that today. Now, I also want to feature some gameplay for you guys, so that's why we are bringing Magneto in here, and he's beautiful, and I love playing as him. And you know what? I am kind of glad to play as him again. I did mention in a previous video, and I've mentioned a few times, that it's really good to see characters like Magneto, weak tier 3s, like Black Panther, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Ant-Man. These characters, they need to be good because they're tier 3able, and people have spent their resources tier 3ing them, so they need to be good. They need to get something out of their investment, especially because some of these tier 3s are very old. And so him getting a buff is big. However, it's also sort of same old story for ABX players, for ABX veterans, for longtime players of this game. And for a lot of players in this game, ABX is basically the only game mode where you can be competitive with a group of players. Now, you can be competitive on your own in a lot of different ways. Competition can take many forms for sure, but competing as a team, as an alliance, there's really only Alliance Battle, Alliance Conquest, and for some, Alliance Tournament, but that's pretty much it. So it's a really, really, really short list, and unfortunately, Magneto represents Netmarble really taking advantage of ABX and really forcing us to sort of chase the carrot over and over and over again for a new character every 1 or 2 updates, sometimes more frequently than that, sometimes more than one character in some cases, as I'm about to show you guys. So I made a little infographic that I want to show you guys in just a minute, but I want to finish this off. I've got a pretty good run going here right now. I don't want the same characters to be used all the time forever. We want to use different parts of our roster for sure, but there's a good way and a bad way to get that done. And unfortunately, with ABX, more often than not, it appears that it's going to be done, or it has been for the last 4 years, done the bad way. So we're doing pretty well here. Seems like we're going to get about the same score that we got before. Ooh, if we didn't get into that iframe any faster. If we were just a little bit slower on that iframe, we would have gotten silence, which would have been really bad. Let's try to get as much of this tier 3 as we can. The tier 3 has so much wind-up. So we didn't get the greatest score ever. Magneto is doing really well on this day. For those of you wondering, for those of you ABX enthusiasts, I've seen scores over 4 million. So my score is not quite there yet, but it's quite good. I'll let you guys know. I mean, ABX has only been live since the weekly reset for a few hours, but I'm ranked 279. That's not amazing. Wow. Never mind. What did I say? 4 million? There are people scoring like 6 million with Magneto. 5.5 million. 5.8 million. Wow. Okay, there's way higher scores than 4 million. Anyways, 4 million is pretty good. But why is this a problem, Cynicalex? Why can't we play with Magneto and ABX? Well, listen, I know a lot of you out there just play ABX, for 100,000 points, and that's it, and you're done, and you don't think anything else of it. Sure. But for the people who play it competitively, I want to show you, I want to show everyone, but I want to speak for the players who are doing it competitively, because for a long time, I've ignored ABX personally, in terms of the channel. I've played it competitively for a long time. I've pretty much played it competitively throughout my Marvel Future Fight career as a player, since I got into a competitive alliance years ago. I haven't always been the best player, but I've always tried to take it seriously. I've always tried to follow the meta. I've always tried to learn the rotations, yada, yada, yada. There's been some instances here and there, like I really hated the original Apocalypse rotation and yada yada yada, but I've tried. But I've also tried to purposely not cover ABX on my channel because I hated the game mode and I wanted it to be reworked. So I thought that making content for it, showing you guys how to play it, and sort of making it seem like a good game mode was sort of hurting my chances of getting it reworked. But now I realize, not now that I realize, but I think I'm going to take a different approach, and I'm going to really try to expose the game mode for how greedy it is, especially when you consider the fact that they have not updated the rewards. They updated the rewards technically last update. They doubled the base rewards, which is a slap in the face compared to what I'm about to show you, okay? So, the first graph I want to show you, the first infographic I want to show you is what ABX looked like about 2 months ago. Not quite 2 months ago, but just basically before the Secret Empire update. So after Warriors of the Sky, before we got the Secret Empire update. And this is important to set as a baseline because you can look and see at all these characters out here. A lot of tier 3s, you got a lot of new uniforms, sure, but you got a lot of staple characters that have been around for a long time. You've got Luna Snow, you've got Doctor Strange, you got Thanos, you've got Minerva, who's like a year old now or more, right? You've got a lot of you got a nice healthy mixture of old and new characters, so it's great to see that. You know, Ghost Panther's still there, Hyperion's there, Captain Marvel's still there for almost a year, so that's great. And it's important to know that this was before they changed the Frost Beast to what he is now. Now the Frost Beast cannot be time frozen or mind controlled or charmed. It can only be silenced, and players are not sure if the silence is intentional or a bug. But for better and for worse, there are a few characters who can silence the Frost Beast. There's Captain Marvel, Endgame. There is Apocalypse with his new uniform, the Messiah Complex. There is Cable's new uniform. And then there is one more that we'll talk about in just a minute. I don't want to spoil what comes next. But this was 2 months ago. Now let's move just a couple of steps forward to what happened with the Secret Empire update. This was one of the biggest fallouts for ABX ever. Now, it didn't actually change that many days of ABX. You can see here that the Blast Villain Day gets replaced, so Cyclops is still there, but now he's being used as a leadership buff for Captain America. So Hydra Cap basically replaces Cyclops. We just took away Emma Frost because there's no room for that extra team up, but you can actually use that team up instead, and it's actually better than the magic one. Cable comes in and replaces Doctor Strange because of that silence that I just mentioned. Now Doctor Strange can't time freeze the Frost Beast, so if he jumps out of the tier 3, you lose all your damage. So that's horrible, horrible. So we go back to using Cable. And then you also have Baron Zemo and Dr. Octopus, Superior Octopus, coming in and replacing Electro and Ghost. So that was a pretty big blow there because Electro had only been introduced like 7 months earlier, right, with Far From Home. And Electro was a paywall character, so wouldn't you know, a paywall character replaced by another paywall character. Baron Zemo's only there as a leadership. Sure, you could use Ghost as a leadership instead of Baron Zemo, but do you notice what I just did? Zemo, Ghost, Electro, all speed villains, all paywall. That's almost like a pattern, Cynicalex. Weird. It's almost like they're trying to milk the players who play ABX competitively. Strange. Anyways, obviously these changes are made because these characters can score higher. But when I say higher, the score isn't always, you know, 1,000,000 points higher, like some really great increase. It's nice when you see a character that's scoring 1,000,000 and then a new character comes along and they could score 2,000,000. There's an incentive there, even if it's just for personal joy and your own improvement. I'm going to work on this new character, I'm going to double my score. But some of these changes that I'm talking about, it's not double. It's not even like a 25% increase. In some cases, we're talking about a couple of 100,000 points more. So it's like, hey, build up this brand new character, spend crystals to move all your Odin's Blessings and your CTPs, or roll for new ones, please, because Netmarble loves money, and then you'll get an extra 200,000 points on your score per week. Every other week. Wink. Isn't that satisfying? By the way, we're much too busy to improve the rewards of ABX, but we can continue to fuck with you guys and change the meta characters update after update. Yeah, okay, so that was pretty bad. Secret Empire update, it caused a lot of ABX players to quit ABX. It caused a lot of ABX alliances to fall apart, to fold, to split up. It really caused a huge rift in the ABX community. So what did Netmarble decide to do this last month with House of X? Oh, they fucked things up even harder. If you thought the last one was bad, you're about to become Andy Dufresne in the laundry room, baby. it's going down. You better grab that broom, brother. So here's what they did now. Now, as I just showed you guys, Magneto completely takes a hot steaming dump on Hydra Cap. So Hydra Cap was the #1 ABX Blast Villain for a single month, and he has already been replaced. How much of a punch in the dick is it for competitive players to be told your investment was only worth it for 1 month? Now you have to change. Imagine if Ebony Maw World Boss. Okay, let me give you guys an example that you'll understand if you don't play ABX and you don't think this is an important topic. Imagine if next month they changed Ebony Maw so he has 1,000,000% mind resistance, but he has 0% cold resistance. Now your Professor X is fucking useless, but you can still use Luna Snow, and you know what? You can pay crystals and buy Iceman. And next month, after that, for the, in May, we're going to change him again. And now he'll have 1,000,000% cold resist and 0% fire resistance. Huh? Go buy that Emma Frost. Go buy that uniform. Go get a mythic ticket. Nice. That's basically what they're doing. On top of that, they don't have the balls to improve the rewards for ABX. Imagine how pissed off players are. But I've only talked about one of the days, and if you have eyes, you've seen that so many days have changed. In fact, a minimum of 5 days changed with this last update. Yeah. Now, there are still some people that are sort of out on the verdict of Captain Marvel versus Miss Marvel, or Marvel Girl, aka the new Jean Grey uniform, the Universal Jean Grey uniform. But I'm pretty sure that she is as good, if not better than Captain Marvel, while having an easier rotation. Captain Marvel's rotation is actually very difficult. There's a lot of canceling. There's a lot of buttons in between, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. Like there's, if you write the rotation out, it looks like you're writing Pythagorean's theorem. It looks like you're writing pi to like 10 places. It's just way too many numbers. You're looking for the decimal. You're like, what's going on? So yeah, just as good or better and much easier to play. Plus the synergy with Ghost Panther for the Universal Hero Day, upgrading the fire damage on her ult. It's very easy to see that as a huge win. So Magneto comes in and punches Captain America out of here. He was meta for 1 month. Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, she comes in and beats up Captain Marvel, replaces her on 2 days. So every week she's been replaced. Now, that one is a little bit more understandable because Captain Marvel was meta for a year. That's a reasonable amount of time, a year. 6 months is pushing it. It can't be less than 6 months. Captain America was 1 month. Just cut off your balls. Okay, let's continue because unfortunately there's a lot more. We go down to the second week. You can see here that Mystique has invaded female villain and speed villain. So now Mystique combos with Dr. Octopus, and you can actually use both of them. Imagine new players. Okay, or imagine players that were just getting competitive in ABX. They were just 1 or 2 pieces away from being competitive. Now you're telling them that if they want to stay competitive, they have to get 2,000 Mandalay gem fragments. 1,000 for Dr. Octopus if they didn't awaken him before the update, and 1,000 for Mystique. How convenient. How convenient. Oh my god. It's almost like they're just trying to grab the udders and squeeze as hard as they can until we're completely dry. It's absolutely disgusting. And then Minerva goes bye-bye as well, and Minerva was free to play friendly. We can't have that, boys. We can't have that. They gotta spend money. So yeah, she comes in. That's not the right day, by the way. The villain's female day. I don't think you use Titania and Black Cat. I'm pretty sure you use Black Cat. I'm not sure about Titania. I honestly don't know the day because I haven't played it yet, and I don't have Mystique, but you use Mystique's leadership because she buffs her own damage. But as you can see here, this is grand larceny. This is highway robbery, Grand Theft Auto style. It's wild, and they get away with it every single time they want to do it. Sometimes it takes a few months. Sometimes it's month after month. These last 2 months have been insane for ABX players. I'm not even going to go into great detail on how the Frost Beast defense changes, the roar that he does that you can't cancel, has made CTPs of Insight and multiple Odin's Blessings on these characters, on these ABX characters, basically a necessity. It's no longer an option. Okay, for the longest time I was using Luna Snow in ABX and I was getting 7 million or whatever the score was, 3.5 million. I was hitting the cap without, you know, too much effort, with no Odin's Blessings on her gear. I had like a decent build on Luna Snow, but it was nothing crazy. I had to put multiple Odin's Blessings on her just to hit the cap after the changes. And that goes for every other character. You want to see my Captain America? Guess whose Odin's Blessings are useless now? This guy's Odin's Blessings. Guess who's going to have to spend the crystals? Basically, guess who's going to have to buy crystals to then spend them to unequip those Odin's Blessings to give them to somebody else? Because now Magneto's better, so what am I using him for? Again, you don't have to play ABX, sure, but if they're doing this to ABX, what happens when all the ABX players quit? You think they're just going to stop doing it? Or you think they're going to take those tactics and move them into timeline battle, move them into world boss? I wouldn't be surprised. So I think it's time that ABX players put their foot down. We've been begging for ABX rewards to be changed. We've also been begging for ABX quality of life improvements. A reset button in the game mode so we do not have to force close the app or stand there for 3 minutes and watch our characters slowly die in order to restart. If you're playing 2 seconds into the game mode and your cat jumps on you and bumps you, you miss your rotation, your score's done, buddy. You can't make any mistakes. It's over. It's not no squad battle nonsense, right? So you got to restart. Guess what? There's no restart button in ABX. So you either force close the app and restart it, which is a pain in the ass, especially if you're on one of the newer iPhones where you can't do that. You have to like freaking lock the whole phone and reopen it. Or you just take your hands off the phone and let your character die. And sometimes it takes 3 minutes for them to die. We need a reset button. Okay, that whole spiel was about the reset button in ABX. We need that. And then we need multiple obelisk slots. It's high time, guys. When you guys introduced ISO 8 sets, you gave us multiple sets. How did you give us multiple sets and you won't give us multiple sets here? It's unconscionable. It has to be. These two changes, the reset button and the multiple gear slots and better rewards, are 100% non-negotiable changes. This shit needs to happen or you will be murdering a bunch of veteran players' motivation to play your game. Stop it. Get some help. Let me know what you guys think of the ABX rant. Let me know what you think of big bad white Magneto slapping it down. Goodbye, Hydra Cap, sad face. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.